The sun was slowly dipping behind the broken hills when the soldier walked through the quiet battlefield. The ground was still warm from the fighting earlier, and the air held that heavy silence that comes only after chaos. He moved carefully, checking the area for anyone who might still be alive. Most of the machines had stopped smoking, and the sounds of distant ships were fading. It looked like everything was over, at least for now. He wasn't searching for enemies anymore. He was just checking for survivors, anyone who needed help. He always believed that once the fighting stopped, the right thing was to help, not judge. But he didn't expect to find much. This place looked empty, like everyone had already been carried away or had crawled to safety. Still, he kept walking, scanning the ground, listening for anything unusual. Then he heard something dot. It was faint, so small that he almost thought he imagined it. A tiny scraping sound, like metal dragging against stone. He stopped walking. He listened again, holding his breath. There it was, soft, weak, and coming from somewhere behind a pile of collapsed structure pieces. Dotted first, he wondered if it was just the wind slipping through the broken walls. But the sound repeated, slow, struggling, intentional. Someone was alive. He moved toward the sound, stepping over cracked ground and burnt metal parts. As he got closer, the noise became clearer. It wasn't the kind of sound a human would make. It had an unusual rhythm, almost like a damaged mechanism trying to move. Still, it was enough for him to know. Whoever it was, they needed help. He reached the fallen structure, a mix of metal plates, collapsed beams, and shattered pieces of alien engineering. It looked like it had taken a direct hit. Something under. It must have been trapped there for hours, maybe longer. He crouched down and pushed aside the smaller pieces. Then, when he lifted one of the larger plates, he froze for a moment. Under it lay an alien warrior. The alien was badly injured. Its armor, which was once bright and sharp-edged, was now cracked and losing its glow. Part of its lower body was pinned under the heavy debris. Its limbs shook weakly, and its breathing was uneven, almost mechanical. Even in that condition, the alien looked proud, the kind of warrior who would normally stand tall and strong. But right now, the warrior couldn't even sit up. For a moment, they just stared at each other. The soldier expected fear or anger, maybe even hostility. But the alien didn't try to attack. Instead, its eyes held something else: exhaustion, pain, and a deep sense of hopelessness. It didn't speak, but the look was enough. It had been lying there, waiting for the end. Then the soldier noticed something else. No sign that the aliens' own squad had tried to rescue it. No marks of pulled debris. No footprints. No signs of anyone even checking. The warrior had been left behind. Left to die. The soldier felt a tightness in his chest. War was one thing, but this felt wrong. He stepped closer, lifting another heavy piece. The alien's hand moved slightly, not in aggression, but in warning. Its voice came out weak, almost a whisper, and though the words were in a different language, the meaning was clear enough. Leave. The soldier shook his head once. He didn't need to know the alien language to give his answer. He said softly, "I'm not leaving you here." The alien blinked in confusion, as if the idea didn't make sense. The two species were supposed to be enemies. Everyone knew that. Helping each other wasn't part of the rules. But the soldier didn't care about rules written by people who weren't standing here, watching a living being fade away. He pushed away more pieces, careful, not to cause more pain. The ground was uneven, and every movement caused the alien to wince. The soldier noticed that the alien couldn't move its lower body at all. It was paralyzed. The battlefield had done more damage than just bruises and cuts when the last large piece was lifted. The alien tried to push itself up, but collapsed immediately. The soldier caught it before it hit the ground again. It was heavier than he expected, but he adjusted his grip. The alien made a strange sound, trying to refuse the help again. Maybe it didn't want to be a burden. Maybe it thought being rescued by a human was dishonorable. Or maybe it simply believed no one would care enough to save it. But the soldier cared. He spoke gently, almost in a whisper, like he was talking to a scared child or an injured animal. "I'm here. I'll get you out." The alien stopped resisting, not because it trusted him, but because it had no strength left. Its breathing was getting weaker. If he didn't move fast, there wouldn't be much time. He lifted the warrior, carefully adjusting the alien's arm around his shoulder. The armor edges pressed into his neck and arm, but he ignored the discomfort. He walked slowly at first, testing the alien's weight. It was difficult, but he kept going. The battlefield stretched around them, silent, empty, and lonely. The soldier felt the alien's breathing against his shoulder, uneven and fading at times. He kept talking softly, not knowing whether the alien understood a single word. But he hoped the tone would convey something comfort, or at least the feeling that it wasn't alone anymore. After a long walk, he found a small sheltered spot inside a half-collapsed building. It was hidden enough to offer protection from patrols. He gently lowered the alien onto the ground and sat next to it for a moment. Catching his breath, the alien looked at him like it was trying to figure out his motive. Why was a human soldier helping an enemy that most humans feared? Why risk getting caught by either side? But the soldier didn't say anything about those questions. He simply opened the small medical kit he carried and started cleaning the alien's wounds. He didn't know alien biology very well, but he tried his best. He used soft, careful movements, watching for signs of pain. When the alien flinched, he slowed down. Hours passed, but he didn't stop caring for the warrior. The alien never expected kindness, not from anyone, and especially not from a human. But as the soldier worked quietly, gently fixing what he could, the alien watched him with new eyes. Something inside it began to shift, even if it didn't understand it yet. The battlefield had left the warrior broken, but this human soldier, he had brought hope back into a place where hope wasn't supposed to exist. The alien's eyes slowly closed, not from death this time, but from the first moment of safety it had felt in a long time. And the soldier stayed alert beside it, guarding it as if the warrior were one of his own. Little did either of them know, this choice, this simple act of humanity, would change both their lives forever. The night grew colder as the soldier sat beside the injured alien, keeping a small light near them, but not bright enough to attract attention. The quiet around them felt too heavy, the kind that presses on your chest and reminds you how alone you are. Outside the broken shelter, the wind carried dust and small pieces of debris, but inside, he tried to make the place feel safe enough for the alien to rest. The alien lay against the wall, breathing slowly. Every time it tried to shift, even a little, pain crossed its face, and it froze. Its armor was still glowing faintly, but the lights were weak and flickering. The soldier guessed the suit had once been stronger, maybe even full of advanced tech, but now it looked as tired as the warrior inside it. For a moment, the soldier wondered what the alien must be thinking. 2 hours ago, it probably believed it would die alone. Now it was lying in the arm's reach of a human, someone it was trained to fight, someone it had likely considered dangerous. But even then, the alien hadn't tried to attack. Maybe it didn't have the strength. Maybe it didn't see a point, or maybe it sensed the soldier truly wanted to help. The soldier checked the alien's breathing again. It was still uneven, but at least stable. He took a deep breath and reached for the damaged armor panel near the alien's shoulder. He spoke gently as he touched it, even though he wasn't sure the alien understood human words. "I need to." Check this part. I'll be careful." To his surprise, the alien gave the smallest nod. That was a good sign. Trust didn't appear all at once. It grew slowly, piece by piece, and this nod felt like the first piece. The soldier lifted the panel and tried to see underneath. There was a strange mix of alien biology and technology soft tissue glowing. Threads, metal plates. He didn't fully understand how it worked, but he could see what damage looked like. Some parts were cut, others burned, and a few were completely dead. He tried to clean what he could with water from his pack. When the cold water touched the alien's skin, it tensed in pain. The soldier paused. "It'll sting." "But I'm trying to help," he said softly. This time, the alien didn't nod. But it didn't pull away either. The soldier continued working slowly, mindfully. He didn't want to rush anything. Every time he touched a damaged area, he watched the alien's reaction carefully. If it flinched, he waited until it relaxed. Again, the job took much longer that way, but he wasn't here to finish quickly. He was here to save a life dot as he worked. The alien's breathing grew smoother. Maybe the cleaning helped. Maybe the alien was simply calmer because the soldier's voice stayed steady and comforting. It was odd, though he wasn't used to speaking softly on a battlefield. But something about this moment felt different. This wasn't war anymore. This was just one living being trying to help another. After a while, the alien made a low, rumbling sound. Not angry, not threatening, but something like confusion. It was looking at the soldier with eyes that held a question. The soldier understood the question without needing the alien to speak. "Why are you doing this?" He answered in a low, calm tone. "Because you would die out there, and I couldn't walk away from that." The alien stared at him for a long moment. Then, with great difficulty, it raised its hand slightly, not to fight, but to touch the soldier's wrist. The touch was light, almost unsure. It felt like the alien was trying to confirm something. That the soldier was real, that the help was real, that this wasn't just some strange trick or dream. The soldier didn't pull away. Instead, he placed his other hand gently over the alien's fingers for a second. A simple gesture, but it carried weight. After that, the alien lowered its hand again, exhausted. A quiet hour passed. The soldier gave the alien a drink using a small container, lifting its head gently. The alien accepted the water with difficulty, but even that small bit helped. Every action felt like caring for someone vulnerable, and the soldier took it seriously. After some time, the alien tried to speak. Its voice was rough, almost broken. The soldier didn't understand the words, but the tone carried meaning. It sounded like a warning. The alien repeated what seemed like the same phrase twice, as if trying hard to make the soldier understand. The soldier shook his head slightly. "It's okay. You're safe right now." The alien frowned. It struggled again to say something. This time slower, pushing each sound out with effort. The soldier listened carefully, watching the alien's eyes for clues. He still couldn't understand the language, but then he heard something in the alien's tone, a fearful edge. The alien wasn't warning him about itself. It was warning him about others, that it was trying to say, "Helping me is dangerous." The soldier nodded slowly. "I know, but I'm doing it anyway." For a moment, the alien didn't move. Then its eyes softened with something that looked like disbelief. It probably had never heard someone say that before. Warriors like this one were usually seen as threats or trophies, not as beings worth saving. The night grew colder, and the wind outside picked up. Dust rattled against the broken walls, making the shelter feel even more fragile. The soldier stayed, alert, listening for enemy patrols or any strange movement. If either side found him with an alien, things could end badly. But he didn't regret anything. He checked the alien's pulse slow but steady. That was good. The alien watched him closely now, like it was studying his face, trying to understand what kind of human would do something like this. Its eyes were sharper now, more focused. A while later, the alien whispered something again. The tone made the soldier guess it was asking a question. The alien repeated the sound quietly, and this time its gaze went toward the exit of the shelter, and back to him. Maybe it was asking why he didn't leave. "I'm not going anywhere," the soldier replied simply. It seemed like such a small sentence, but it made the alien blink and slowly exhale. Maybe that was relief. Maybe it was acceptance. Whatever it was, the alien finally relaxed a little and closed its eyes. Not from fainting, not from pain, but because it trusted him enough to rest. The soldier didn't rest, though. He kept scanning the area, making sure no one approached. His mind ran through possible escape routes and safe paths for morning. He didn't know how far he would have to carry the alien, or how heavy it might become if its armor stiffened in the cold. But he'd figure it out. He looked at the alien again. Even in its injured state, it had a strong presence, like someone who had fought many battles and survived every one until now. Being abandoned by its own people must have hurt, more than the physical wounds. You could see that in the way it avoided looking at its lower body or the crushed armor pieces. The soldier spoke quietly, almost to himself. "You're not dying out here. Not while I'm still breathing." The alien opened its eyes for a moment, as if it had heard those words, and studied him again. Then it closed them again, trusting that promise. Hours passed like that, slowly, quietly. Just before dawn, the alien woke up suddenly, panicked. It tried pushing itself up with its arms, but couldn't. The soldier quickly held its shoulders, calming it down. "It's okay. You're safe. I'm here." The alien breathed heavily and slowly relaxed. It looked embarrassed, as if it didn't want him to see that moment of fear. The soldier pretended not to notice, giving the alien space to collect itself. After a while, the alien lifted one shaky hand and pointed weakly toward its chest panel. It tapped it twice. The soldier leaned closer. Maybe the alien wanted him to open it. He touched the panel gently, and the alien didn't pull away, so he began loosening the damaged parts. Inside, he found a small dim light and several broken connections. It looked like a built-in support device, something meant to keep the alien stable. The soldier adjusted a few pieces, trying to match the pattern of the unbroken parts, and when he pressed one section lightly, the light flickered brighter. The alien inhaled sharply, surprised. The soldier smiled faintly. "That helped, didn't it?" The alien nodded this time, tired but grateful. That little moment made everything feel different. It wasn't just a rescue anymore. It was a partnership. A fragile one, yes, but real. The sky outside began turning pale as morning approached. The soldier knew sunrise meant patrols, scanners, and danger. They couldn't stay here any longer. The alien was still too weak to move on its own. Carrying it would be difficult, but he was ready to try. He placed his hand lightly on the alien's arm. "We have to go soon. I'll get you somewhere better." The alien looked worried, maybe even scared. But after a long pause, it nodded slowly. With great care, the soldier slid his arms beneath the alien's body, lifting it once again. The alien gritted its teeth, trying not to show pain. The soldier tightened his hold, making sure the alien's weight rested safely against him. As they moved toward the exit, the alien glanced at him with a look he couldn't quite understand at first, something like respect, something like confusion, something like gratitude. But one thing was clear. The alien didn't see him as an enemy anymore. The soldier didn't know what would happen next, or how far he could carry the alien before someone noticed. But he walked forward, step by steady step, determined to keep his promise. The night had been hard. The journey ahead would be even harder. But for the first time, the alien wasn't facing it alone. The morning light was still weak when the soldier began moving again with the injured alien supported against his shoulder. The sky was a pale gray, the kind that hides the sun behind dust and smoke. The battlefield looked different now, almost peaceful in the early silence, even though the ground was covered with broken metal and burnt patches. The soldier walked carefully, choosing paths that stayed under shade or behind fallen pieces of structures, avoiding open areas where patrols might spot them. The alien's weight leaned heavily on him. Every few steps, the warrior's breathing would tighten, and the soldier would pause, letting the alien take in air slowly. He didn't rush. He knew each step mattered. He didn't want the alien to feel afraid to ask for a moment of rest, so he kept checking without saying anything, just looking quietly, letting the alien know he was paying attention. They finally reached a small abandoned shelter farther from the main field. It looked like it had once held supplies, but now it was empty and half-broken. Still, its thick walls offered better cover. The soldier helped the alien sit against a corner where the light didn't reach directly. It took time, and the alien's arms trembled with every small movement. The soldier knelt down and placed his pack beside him. "We'll stay here for a bit," he said in a gentle tone. "You need time." The alien slowly shifted its head in a nod. Its eyes looked tired, but more awake than the night before. There was something new in them, curiosity mixed with confusion, like the warrior wanted to understand something, but didn't know how to ask. The soldier noticed the look. He sat down on the ground near the alien, staying close enough to show he was still there, but not crowding it. He opened a small bottle of water and handed it carefully. The alien accepted it with weak fingers. It drank slowly, struggling with every swallow. But it didn't stop. After drinking, the alien rested the bottle on the ground and tried to speak. The words came out broken, strained, but the tone was steady. The soldier didn't understand language, but he could tell the alien was trying to explain something important. He listened closely. The alien spoke again, slower this time, almost like it was trying to show meaning through expression and emphasis. The soldier shook his head. "I'm sorry. I don't understand the words." The alien exhaled in frustration, closing its eyes for a moment. It tried again, this time using its hands weakly to make simple gestures. One hand pointed to itself, then to its lower body, then it tapped the ground twice. After that, the alien's eyes lifted toward the sky, its voice sounding pained. Soldier leaned forward, trying to piece it together. "You're talking about what happened to you?" The alien looked at him and blinked once, slow, deliberate. A confirmation. So the soldier nodded. "I'll listen. Tell me whatever you want to tell." The alien took a slow breath. It seemed to gather whatever strength it had left. Then it began to speak again, haltingly, using gestures and tone to fill the gaps. At first, the soldier couldn't make much sense of it, but after a few minutes, small pieces began to fit together like parts of a broken picture rearranging itself. The alien raised one hand and made a chopping motion outward, then pointed toward the battlefield. Its tone changed sharper, angrier. Then it tapped its chest twice, then pointed toward the sky again, this time making a shaking motion, as if showing conflict. It took time, but after many pauses and attempts, the soldier finally understood what the alien had been trying to say. The alien hadn't been left behind because it was wounded. It had been left because it disagreed. The soldier looked at the warrior with a new kind of respect. He knew what it meant to question orders. Not many had the courage for that. The alien must have said something against a command from its own side, something serious enough that they chose to abandon it. That explained the deep sadness he had seen earlier. It also explained why the alien reacted the way it did when It saw him the first time like it no longer believed anyone would stand beside it. The alien noticed the change in the soldier's expression. It continued explaining, using its hands again. It made a gesture showing two groups, one tall, one shorter. It tapped the shorter one, humans, then shook its head, then pointed to itself and touched its chest in a slow, thoughtful way. The soldier understood that part easily. You didn't agree with the attack on humans, did you? The alien paused, then nodded once, tired but clear. The soldier felt a strange heaviness in his chest. The alien had tried to stop something. It had disagreed with its own leadership, and because of that, it had been abandoned. All this time, the alien wasn't just a wounded enemy. It was someone who had tried to do the right thing. The alien then pointed to its lower body and made a sudden downward motion with its hand, then tapped the rubble near them. It was explaining the blast, the moment its spine was damaged, probably in the middle of the disagreement. Maybe someone had pushed it, or maybe it had stood in the wrong place at the wrong time. The soldier lowered his head slightly. You were hurt because you refused? The alien's eyes softened again. It blinked slowly. Yes, the soldier sighed deeply. I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that. The alien's gaze lingered on him for a long moment. Maybe it didn't understand every word, but tone and expression spoke clearly enough. The alien's breath trembled, and for the first time, it looked like it wanted to speak without hiding. Anything. Slowly, it tapped its chest again. This time, not in anger or frustration, but in a meaningful way, soft, deliberate. Then it pointed to the soldier. The soldier blinked, unsure at first. Then he realized the alien was trying to say something like, I trust you. He didn't expect that, but it felt right. They had gone from strangers to enemies to something very different in a single long night. Before he could respond, a distant rumbling sound echoed across the area. The alien stiffened instantly. The soldier recognized the sound. 2 engines. Patrols. He moved closer to the edge of the broken doorway, watching carefully. Several ships were sweeping across the far side of the field, scanning for survivors or enemies. The soldier's heart beat faster. If they found him with an alien, they wouldn't ask questions. They'd assume he was compromised, or worse. The alien made a quiet warning sound, pushing one arm weakly toward him as if telling him to run. The soldier shook his head firmly. I'm not leaving you. The alien repeated the warning sound, more urgent now, pointing toward the open field. It was telling him he was in danger because of it. The soldier replied quietly, but with determination. I know the danger, but I'm staying. The alien stared at him with disbelief again. Its eyes narrowed, not in anger, but something deeper, confusion, mixed with gratitude. It didn't understand why someone from an enemy species would protect it like this. The patrol sound slowly faded away. The soldier returned to the alien's side. You don't have to worry. I promised I'd help you, he said softly. The alien exhaled, a long breath filled with exhaustion and something like relief. It leaned back, adjusting its weight carefully. The soldier noticed its hands trembling slightly. You don't have to be strong for me, he said gently. You've been strong enough already. The alien's eyes softened again. Then slowly it raised its hand and placed it on the soldier's shoulder. The touch was light, but the meaning behind it was strong. The soldier felt a kind of respect pass between them, wordless but powerful. For a long time, they just sat there in the quiet space, breathing the same dusty air, listening to the far-off sounds of machines and wind. The alien no longer looked scared around him. It looked safe. And that was something the warrior hadn't felt for a long time, maybe even before the battle. After a while, the alien spoke again. The words were slow, but more stable now. The soldier didn't understand the language, but the tone carried a deeper story. It was telling him something from its heart, something honest. Maybe it was saying thank you. Maybe it was saying it never expected to survive. Maybe it was saying it didn't think humans could be kind. Whatever the meaning, the soldier listened with full attention. Sometimes understanding didn't require knowing the exact words. The feeling was enough. When the alien finished speaking, its eyes lowered slightly, as if it was embarrassed to share something so personal. The soldier didn't make it awkward. He simply replied in a calm voice, "I hear you. And I'm with you." The alien looked up again, something like resolve in its eyes. Even with all its pain, even with its body weakened, the warrior suddenly seemed stronger on the inside. Like something had been restored, not respect, not hope, not maybe even a kind of bond they never expected. The soldier leaned back against the wall, breathing out slowly. The alien rested beside him, their shoulders almost touching. Two beings from different worlds, two former enemies, now sitting together with a kind of understanding that didn't need perfect language. The alien turned its head slightly and spoke one more quiet word. The tone was gentle, almost fragile. The soldier didn't know the exact meaning, but he felt it. And he responded softly, "You're welcome." The battlefield had taken much from the alien, its mobility, its squad, its trust in its own people. But now, for the first time in a long time, the alien wasn't alone. And for the first time, the soldier realized this mission wasn't just about saving a life. It was about giving someone a reason to believe again. When he finally opened his eyes, the soft blue glow of the alien ship's ceiling was the first thing he saw. For a moment, he didn't know where he was, or how long he had been asleep. His body felt heavy, but not painful. Strange warmth moved through his arms and legs, almost like something inside him was slowly healing. He blinked slowly, trying to remember everything that had happened earlier. The last thing he remembered was the Queen collapsing in front of him, her energy nearly gone, and him running forward to support her before she hit the floor. After that, everything became a blur. Voices, rushing footsteps, someone lifting him, and the feeling of something wrapping around his chest to keep him steady. Then darkness. He turned his head, expecting to be alone. Instead, he saw the alien, Queen, sitting quietly beside him. She wasn't wearing her armor. For the first time, he saw her in a simple robe made of silver blue material that shimmered like water. Without the armor, she looked less intimidating and more tired. Her shoulders were slightly lowered, and her eyes, usually sharp and bright, were softer now. When she noticed him looking at her, she straightened slightly and let out a slow breath, almost like relief. "You're awake," she said in a quiet voice. Finally, he swallowed, still trying to understand the situation. "How long was I out?" "Almost 2 cycles," she replied. "On your world, that would be close to a full day." He tried to sit up, but the Queen quickly leaned forward and placed a steady hand on his shoulder. "Slowly," she said. "Your body is still recovering." He nodded and relaxed back against the soft surface. It wasn't exactly a bed, and it wasn't metal either. It felt like a living thing, warm, flexible, and slightly moving as if it was breathing. He was still confused, but compared to the chaos earlier, this peaceful moment felt almost unreal. "What happened after I passed out?" he asked. The Queen looked away for a moment, as if choosing her words carefully. "You protected me," she said softly, "more than my own guards did. When the energy surge hit the hall, you were the only one who stayed. The others ran, but you—" She paused. "You shielded me with your own body." He remembered flashes of it now. The hall shaking, the strange force pressing against them, the Queen struggling to stay on her feet, and his instinct pushing him forward. He didn't think. He simply acted, But why was that surge happening? He asked. The Queen hesitated. It was a message, she said. A threat from a rival faction. They wanted me weakened before the council meeting. They succeeded, nearly. She looked down at her hands. And they would have taken my life if you hadn't been there. He didn't know what to say. He wasn't a soldier in their world. He wasn't even supposed to be involved in their politics. He was simply a human visitor caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. I just did what anyone would do, he said quietly. Her eyes lifted, and she shook her head. No, not anyone. My own guards left me. You didn't. There was a long silence. Not uncomfortable, just full. Like both of them were still processing everything. Then she spoke again, more serious now. You don't understand what your actions mean in our culture. He frowned. What do you mean? In my world, she said softly, when someone protects a ruler with their own life, even without being commanded, it is seen as a sign, a bond, a promise. A promise? He repeated. Yes, a promise of loyalty, of trust, and sometimes, she paused again, hesitating. Sometimes it is taken as something even deeper. He didn't know how to respond. His heart beat a little faster, not from fear, but from confusion. He didn't want to misunderstand anything. I didn't mean to send the wrong message, he said carefully. I just didn't want anything bad to happen to you. A faint smile touched her lips. I know. That is why it matters even more. Another moment passed. Then her expression changed again, this time more troubled. The council is already speaking, she said. They saw what happened. They saw how you protected me. And now they claim I have chosen a guardian. A guardian? He repeated. In our tradition, a guardian is not a simple bodyguard. It is someone who stands beside the ruler in all things, politically, personally, sometimes spiritually. It is a respected position, but also a complicated one. He stared at her. And they think that's me? They don't think, she said. They already declared it. His breath caught. But I didn't agree to anything. I know, she said gently. And I told them that. But traditions are stubborn. He didn't understand their culture fully, but even he could tell. This situation was bigger than either of them expected. What happens now? He asked quietly. The Queen looked at him with an expression that held both strength and vulnerability. Now, she said, they expect you to stand beside me at the council meeting. They want to see if the bond is true, or if it was just an accident. He let out a slow exhale. He had never planned to be part of political ceremonies on another world. He had never imagined being seen as someone important there. He was just a visitor trying to understand their world. Are you okay with that? He finally asked. The Queen took a moment before answering. You saved my life, she said. So yes, if you choose to stand with me, I would be honored. The way she said it made something warm move through him. But he also felt pressure, fear, responsibility. I don't know if I'm ready for that, he admitted. The Queen nodded. Slowly. I won't force you. No one will. But understand something. Your presence changed more than just the outcome of a dangerous moment. It changed how my people see humans, and how they see me. He could hear the weight in her words. He looked around the room again, trying to sort through his thoughts. Everything in that place was new to him, strange but calming. The gentle hum beneath the floor, the dim lights, the soft colors. And then he realized something important. Why are you here? He asked quietly. You've been sitting beside me all this time, haven't you? She looked slightly embarrassed. Yes. I didn't want you to wake up alone. Your guards could have watched me. They are not the ones you saved, she said simply. His chest tightened a little at that. It was such a simple sentence, but carried so much meaning. I didn't want to leave your side. she added, even softer this time. He didn't know what to say. No ruler from any world would admit something like that so openly. Yet she did. Before he could respond, the room's door silently slid open. A healer entered, checked a few readings, and bowed to the queen. "His strength is returning," the healer said, "but he will need rest." The queen nodded, but didn't move from her seat. When the healer left, she turned back to him. "You don't have to decide right now," she said gently. "You can think about it." He nodded, grateful for that. But deep inside, he already felt something shifting. A strange sense of responsibility mixed with something he didn't fully understand yet. Not love, not yet, but connection, respect. A bond he didn't choose, but didn't want to ignore either. He closed his eyes for a moment, breathing slowly. When he opened them again, the queen was still there, watching him with a quiet expression. "Thank you," he said softly. "For what?" she asked. "For staying." The queen's eyes softened further. "Always," she said, and in that moment, he realized the next part of his journey would not be simple. But maybe it was meant to happen exactly this way.